Nidhi ma'am, could you please confirm me the audio check, please?
Yes, Mehreen, you are perfectly audible.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, a very good afternoon to all of you. I am Mehreen and I'll be hosting today's event for you. I welcome you all to this webinar session, which is scheduled to be held and conducted today on the topic Clean Environment and Human Rights. The concept of human rights in general emerged after the Second World War, but the right to a healthy environment as one of those human rights was never a priority. Today, this right is an emerging concept that is being hotly debated in the human rights arena. A healthy environment is an essential aspect of the right to life, not only for human beings, but also for other animals on the planet. Violation, therefore, of the right to healthy environment is potentially a violation of the basic right to life. Environment deterioration could eventually endanger life of present and future generations. Therefore, the right to life has been used in a diversified manner in India. It includes inter alia, the right to survive as species, quality of life, the right to live with dignity, and the right to livelihood. In India, this has been expressly recognized in the Constitution. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution states that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to procedures established by law. The Supreme Court expanded this negative right in two ways. Firstly, any law affecting personal liberty should be reasonable, fair, and just. Secondly, the court recognized several unarticulated liberties that were implied by Article 21. It is by this second method that the Supreme Court interpreted the right to life and personal liberty to include the right to a clean environment. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce and welcome our esteemed guests for the event. Starting with our chief guest, we have Mr. Sunil Kumar Chaudhary with us, who is former Registrar Haryana, Human Rights Commission, Chandigarh, worked as a government leader in the state of Haryana for about 5 years, also worked as Registrar in Punjab and Haryana High Court for more than 7 years. Did practice in Punjab and Haryana High Court and remained on the panel of the Legal Aid Council for High Court Legal Services Committee and dealt with the cases of people who were in need of legal aid. Worked as Joint Registrar in the office of Lokpal, Punjab for about 2 years. An inspiration to hundreds. Thank you so much for sparing time for the event, sir. Heartiest welcome to you. Joining us as the guest of honor, we have Mrs. Deepika Bahari with us, who is the president of the WICCI Chandigarh, also the CEO of Untranchal, a branding and digital marketing company in Chandigarh. Despite of having so much on the plate, she manages to balance it all out. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Allow me to welcome the organizer of the event, Dr. Richa Ranjan, a superwoman and an amazing visionary. When I say amazing, I mean it. And I'm sure you all agree to it. President of the Human Rights Council, WICCI Chandigarh, and also the principal of Swami Devi Dayal Law College, Panchkula. We also have with us Mrs. Niti Kathuria, Vice President of Human Rights Council, WICCI Chandigarh, and also a lecturer at Swami Devi Dayal Law College, a wonderful mentor with equally wonderful and calm demeanor. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Richa Ranjan to start the session. Thank you.
Thanks, Mehreen. Myself, Dr. Richa Ranjan, President, Human Rights Council, WICCI, Chandigarh, along with Vice President, Mrs. Kathuria, and our council members. I welcome our chief guest, former Registrar, Mr. Sunil Kumar Chaudhary, Human Rights Commission, Haryana, Chandigarh, and guest of honor, Mrs. Deepika Bahari, President, WICCI Chandigarh Council, in this webinar on World Environment Day. Our council mission is to educate women about their human rights by changing the mentality of society and by taking various initiatives, campaigns, and drives in human rights domain to outreach the women who are still under biased traditional practices, to provide knowledge about their basic rights. So today our council motto is, let's unite for human rights. Now, what are human rights? All the rights under the sun are human rights. Human rights are basic rights. As simple as we can say, as we are human, we have access to human rights. They are said to be moral rights as well. And we can say as universal rights also. All human beings are born free and equal, and human rights protects your everyday life regardless of who you are, where you live, and where you choose to live. And human rights are inalienable rights. In 1948, Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted with 30 articles. And all the articles are contained in our constitution as fundamental rights. Human Rights Day is celebrated in every year on 10th of December. And this day is selected to honor United Nations General Assembly's implementation of UDHR. UDHR means Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It's said to be International Magna Carta for all men everywhere. As legal rights comes from law, contractual rights arise from contract. Thus, human rights comes from humanity or being human. So we can say we are having Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, which now further may be called as Protection of Human Rights Amendment Act 2006. We are having National Human Rights Commission, State Human Rights Commission, and Human Rights Codes. They are for better protection for human rights. So that will be more, अभी अच्छे से समझाएंगे. Our chief guest, he'll explain in very detailed manner about the working of human rights codes and how clean environment is connected with human rights. Now I welcome Mrs. Deepika Bahari ma'am to start with the webinar and to give the consent. Welcome, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Dr. Richa Ranjan, and I welcome I welcome Shri Sunil Kumar ji, Chaudhary ji on behalf of Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And despite of his busy schedule, he's there with us for the first and a very, very thrilling webinar, and that too on World Environment Day. तो वाकई आज के दिन, because हमें पता लगता है it's a World Environment Day, and now with the concept of sustainable living, we all are moving up with human rights, but then we have to see that we are not exploiting our earth, Mother Earth. So, but then today's chief guest, Sunil Kumar Chaudhary, would be a better person to guide us further. And I congratulate Dr. Richa and the whole council for such a wonderful webinar.
Thank you, Deepika ma'am. Mehreen? Mehreen?
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm here only, ma'am. It was an immense pleasure for us. I would now take the opportunity to invite our esteemed chief guest, Mr. Sunil Kumar Chaudhary, to grace the event by sharing the wisdom with us. Sir, your mic, you haven't turned it on, sir.
Yes, it is audible now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir.
Good afternoon, Ms. Deepika Bahari, President WICCI, President Chandigarh Council. Good afternoon, Dr. Richa Ranjan. Good afternoon, Nidhi Kathuria and Ms. Mehreen. Our topic for discussion is clean environment and human rights. First, we shall take up what is human rights and how our rights are protected. we should be grateful to Almighty that we are born as human beings. And by virtue of being human, we possess certain basic and inalienable rights which are known as human rights. Dr. Richa has, in a very good terminology, has explained the definition of human rights. United Nations General Assembly in the year 1948 declared a common standard of achievement for all people and all nations. Emphasizes this for all people and all nations. Article 1 stipulates all human beings are free, equal in dignity and rights. It lays down obligation of government to act in certain ways or to refrain from certain acts in order to promote and protect human rights. Our parliament in the year 1993 enacted Protection of Human Rights Act, under which National Human Rights Commission was constituted. And in the said act, it was also provided that states shall have their own independent state human rights commissions. The government of Haryana consequently has established its own state human rights commission on 20th September 2012. Here I would like to now tell you the composition of the commission. Commission comprises chairperson and 2 members. The act also lays down the qualification for the appointment of chairperson. The chairperson and members are appointed by a committee comprising Chief Minister, Minister in charge, Speaker of Legislative Assembly, and Leader of Opposition. In 2012, the first chairperson who was appointed in the commission was Justice Vijendra Jain. He was a retired Chief Justice, Punjab Haryana High Court, and the other member was Justice H.S. Bhalla, who also remained as acting chairperson. The third member was Mr. Ahlawat, who was a retired IAS. At present, the commission is manned by Justice Satish Kumar Mittal. He has been a Chief Justice from Rajasthan High Court. The other member is Justice K.C. Puri. He has been a judge of Punjab Haryana High Court. And the third member is Mr. Deep Bhatia, who is a renowned, who has been a renowned advocate from Supreme Court of India. This is the now composition of the commission. Further, the commission is having one secretary from state government who is working as IAS. The other 2 members, the other 2 officers are registrar, and one is director investigation, who is a inspector general of police. So this is the basic broad composition of the commission. Now, what are the functions of the commission? I should tell. The function of the commission would to inquire suo motu or on a petition presented to it by a victim or any person. The complaint can be filed by a victim or on his behalf by any other person, alleging therein violation of human rights or abetment thereof, or negligence in prevention of such violation by a public servant. This is the first how the commission function. Commission function is next. They can inspect the jail. They can inspect the institutions where the persons are detained, lodged for treatment, for reformation, for protection. Further, to encourage the efforts of non-government organization and institutions working in the field of human rights. This is also one of the functions that any other non-governmental organization or institutions which are also working in the field of human rights to encourage them. This is also the function of the Commission. The Commission has power to ask any person to subject to any privilege which may he claim for the time being to furnish any information with regard to any complaint. The Commission has got the power of civil court. He can send someone to any person requiring to give the information, requiring to give the tell about the complaints, about the allegation. The investigation also can be done for the purpose of investigation pertaining to the inquiry. The Commission can utilize the services of any central or state government, although for the central government with its concurrence. So this is the broad function. Now I touch the section 18 of the Human Rights Act.
सर आप सारे केसेस बता सकते हो जो केसेस वहां पर आते थे ह्यूमन राइट कोर्ट्स में, और चाहे आप हिंदी में बता सकते हैं कि सबको अच्छे से समझ में आ जाए कि वर्किंग क्या होती है ह्यूमन राइट कोर्ट्स की।
वो भी हम now the Commission is having wings: judicial wing, investigation wing, administrative wing. Judicial wing is where the complaint is received. Investigation wing, that is manned by the Inspector General of the police. He is called Director of Investigation. And administrative wing for dealing with the establishment of the cases, establishment of the organization. Now in judicial wing, what the procedure is, if a victim files a complaint, he can file a complaint in any language, in Hindi or in English. And he is not required to put any judicial stamp on it or any court fee. Simple paper, he can send the complaint to the Haryana Human Rights Commission, or on his behalf, as I said earlier, anybody can send the complaint. The moment complaint is received, it is diarized, registered, and thereafter the lists are generated, and those lists are marked by chairperson to send the cases to the members. Now the number is given to the complaint and the list is generated. The list is placed on the website of the Commission. If I am living in Narnaul and I have a filed complaint, and in the evening I can see that my complaint number has been given, and tomorrow it has been listed before the concerned judge. That means this is before the chairperson, or this is before the Justice K.C. Puri, or this is before the Mr. Deep Bhatia. Now complaint has come, complaint has gone for the hearing. The complainant need not to come. If he so desire, he can come. If he is not able to come, no need to come. Now his complaint is examined by the concerned judge, and if he finds that there are certain allegations violating of human rights, then he will call for the report. We are maintaining district-wise register. From Ambala, how many complaints came? From Narnaul, how many complaints came? We are having broad categories. Broad categories means where there is abuse of power, where it is a custodial death complaint, it is a dowry demand complaint, it is a false implication complaint, it is a complaint against women, it is a complaint against sexual harassment at a workplace. So this is a broad categorization has been done. In the year from April 19 to March 20, 2,509 complaints received and 3,218 were disposed of. Now, I will tell what type of complaints and what were the decisions given by the Commission. Different type of cases came. Now, I will tell you, there was one case of Dinesh Kumar. A student was there. He was a 5th class student. He fell ill. He was suffering from aplastic anemia. That was quite a dangerous disease. The father took him to the hospital, ultimately to the AIMS. They said that there is expenses of from 12 lakh to 15 lakh. The complainant was not having financial resources. He wrote letters to Prime Minister, Chief Minister to give him the aid. Consequently, our Chief Minister, who is a quite benevolent, he ordered for 1 lakh financial assistance to complainant. And on 12th January, they sent the check to the Deputy Commissioner Jean. Now, our government apathy, the persons at Deputy Commissioner office did not give that check to the complainant. And on 24th of January, the son of the complainant, he dies. Now he files the complaint to us. Then look at the Chief Minister send me this check, but I could not utilize it. The notice was issued. The notice was issued to the concerned authorities. The notice was issued to the concerned authorities. They said, again, same government reply, the person did not come to collect the check. It was so and so, all lame excuses. Ultimately, the commission directed that let 5 lakh compensation to be given. Now I'll read the relevant para. Since the young son of the complainant died due to non-receipt of timely financial assistance from the office of Deputy Commissioner Jean, the commission is of the opinion that complainant Dinesh Kumar is entitled for compensation as he has lost his son of a very young age who could have been support in his old age. The complainant was deprived from the grant money sanctioned by the office of Chief Haryana on a very crucial time when it was urgently needed. The fact is that check reached from the office of Deputy Commissioner in 5 days, but it could not. But still, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. So the 5 lakh compensation has been granted to the complaint. So this was the such type of complaint comes. The other type of complaint is there that one blind, 100% blind person is going to from Bhiwani to Delhi along with his mother. The government instructions are there that 100% blind person is not required to purchase ticket. So from Bhiwani, they on the ticket counter. Am I audible? From Bhiwani, he told that yes, I am blind and I am going with my mother, and seat was allotted. On the way, checker and other came. They asked that where is your ticket? Now there are some instructions. You cannot do like this, and they misbehaved. And they said, "Andhe aur uski maa ko niche utar do." And when they were threatened to get down, she purchased one ticket. She filed a complaint to us, to the commission. That look at this. It was a winter season, and they were forcing me to get down. These are the instructions. We for the commission gave the notice to the general manager roadways. They came, and ultimately out of court, they held a compromise with the complainant. They went to their house and tendered apology, and then they said that the complainant said, yes, we are now not interested, we are satisfied. He says it is stated that on 29th November, during the checking staff had misbehaved with me and illegally got issued me ticket. In fact, I had made a complaint. Today, whole checking staff has tendered an apology on an affidavit before the panchayat. Our staff members have accepted their mistake. I don't want to take any further action against them. But no, commission said no. This is a misbehavior on the part of the checking staff. This is a gross violation of human rights. Then 8 to 10 page judgment they wrote. It is now well-established proposition of law as held by Supreme Court in number of cases that monetary compensation is an appropriate, effective remedy for redressal of violation of human rights of a citizen by public servant, and state is vicariously liable for their acts. Now, state government employee in any case cannot taken lightly, and accordingly we think it appropriate to direct the state government to pay 2 lakh compensation to the complainant. 2 lakh compensation was granted to them on this type of violation of human rights. Then there is a case where one lady professor, there is a one complainant, she's a working an assistant professor in DAV College, Yamunanagar. She was on maternity leave. After maternity leave, she joined, and on the date of joining, she was having little baby with her. She went to college as on that day, there was no working. Now, the principal says, no, you cannot bring the child with you. They allow that, and the college not having the crutch. The college principal directed the security staff not to allow the teacher to, if she bring the child. She made a complaint to us, to the commission. Then report of Director Higher Education was called, and it was specifically asked to tell whether there is a provision in the Maternity Benefit Act 1961 that the main grounds of the complainant was that her child was not allowed to bring in college by college authorities, and taking the matter as violation of human rights. Report was requisitioned from Director Higher Education Panchkula, who in turn sought the report from concerned college, DAV College for Girls, Yamunanagar. It was observed by the commission in its order dated 24th January 2019 that whether the facility of crèche or daycare center as required under the provision of Maternity Benefit Act 1961 is being given to the working women employees. The Parliament amended the said act by asserting some provision in section 11, and the relevant portion of the amendment part of said act is as under. Every establishment having 50 or more employees shall have the facility of crèche within such distance as may be prescribed. So there is a amendment in the act that the workplaces, they must, if they are having more than 50 persons, they should have crèche. So on the direction of the commission, the crèche was opened there. So the relief was granted. The violation of human rights was ventilated. Then there are so many cases. The suo motu cases came. Child marriages case came that in Mewat district, the child marriage is being performed. And if the parents see that the girl is in love affair with other boy, they immediately during her minority, they marry her. So in this case, we call for the commission called for the report from the Women, Child and Development Department and directed them that they should hold seminar of education by educating the people that this should not be done. And the Haryana Human Rights Commission, the commission has said that considering all the facts, we direct the Department of Women and Child Development Panchkula to organize such programs, and keeping in view the seriousness of these issues, the chairman member of Haryana Human Rights Commission will also participate in such programs, which will aware the people of affected areas about the negative outcome of child marriage, and the administrative officer of the said area will ensure about their participation and will make arrangement accordingly. So educative job is also done by the Haryana Human Rights Commission. Then there are cases that there is no lecturer for 108 students. There is one lecturer. So the complaint comes, the comments are called for, immediately treating it as a violation of human rights. The officers are posted, lecturers are posted. Then there is a death in the judicial custody. An under trial is taken in the custody, but he commits suicide. In that case, compensation is granted. In judicial custody, the suicide takes place, compensation is granted. So that's during judicial custody. This is also a serious matter. Taking the human rights is taking note of it. there are more other cases that where one person in Gymkhana Club, Gurgaon, he was going, and during rainy season, the wall collapsed, and he is injured. The people come and take him out of the debris, and ultimately he got, his leg is fractured, his backbone is fractured, and he was awarded compensation. So so many complaints have been pouring in, and old age pension scheme. The people come, one Sarpanch arbitrarily asks if he has not cast in the vote. He says, I will not disperse you the pension. He makes the complaint. The department take the plea that he has not come himself, or now from this date, from the future date, the pension can be given. The commission says no. When you have stopped it, he is there. Give him the old age pension given from the date when it was stopped. Such type of complaints are being poured in. Then their complaint is that police, as you know, police is having always high-handedness on the people. Although they are the protector, but whenever any person comes across with them, he is having a very bad experiences. The people come to us, make a complaint that he is demanding money, or when the money was not given, he was beaten mercilessly. In so many cases, the compensation has been awarded against the police officers. In so many cases. And this shows that commission, there is some person, there is one man who is having eye on over the other society, that if I'll commit any mistake, the commission will take cognizance. This has come in the mind of the people, that somebody is there who's taking that, who's seeing your activities. If I'll do some illegal act, the man will go to commission, and commission will call me. Now commission's recommendations are binding. Invariably, wherever any recommendation has been sent, but I have seen that in every case, the government has been giving compensation which has been awarded by the commission. And in this way, the commission is working. There is one more case. A lady went to maternity hospital. The nurse says the delivery will take place after some time. She went to washroom. There she delivered a baby, but there was no light. Report was called. The disciplinary action started against the staff nurse. So these type of complaints keep on pouring. Pension, electricity. There was a case where electricity was disconnected. The compensation has been given for 2 lakh rupees. Although such type, the department, what they say, they contest vehemently like in a court. When the notice is sent to the department, then he is taken to the toes. He brings his advocates, he brings the law, the commission reads everything and then gives the directions that this is a violation of human rights. You can't do like this. Electricity is a right, basic human rights. So in this way, the commission is working, and there is a judgment of Allahabad High Court that whenever there is any order passed by the Human Rights Commission, that will be the compensation. The commission has full power to recommend direct regarding payment of compensation or damages to the complainant if it finds on inquiry there is a violation of human rights. Yes. So there are cases that in so many cases, again, the monetary, for giving him the monetary benefits, the compensation is awarded by the commission. Now, today is the World Environment Day. And for clean environment, we have to do a lot of things. All human beings depend on the environment in which they live. A safe clean, healthy, and sustainable environment is required for full enjoyment of wide range of human rights. The relationship between human rights and environment was recognized by UN General Assembly in the late 1960s. In 72, direct relationship between the environment and right to life was recognized. The preamble states, man is both creature and molder of his environment. Really said, man is both creature and molder. Now, man does not create, he destroys the environment, with the result, such type of now miseries we are seeing. Now, time has come to protect the nature, to ensure our future. COVID-19 has caused a great loss to the society. The emergence of COVID-19 has shown how disastrous the consequences of ecosystem loss by shrinking area of natural habitat for animals, ideal condition for pathogens, including coronavirus, to spread in human beings as their host have been created. Healthy ecosystem, clear water, purify air, maintain our soil, regulate the climate, recycling nutrients. So the environment should be clean. Now, how to protect the environment? Eco-sustain has to be restored by reverting the damage already caused, and we should heal it. It means bringing back the plants, animals from the brink. Now, during lockdown, we saw that the atmosphere, during lockdown period, we saw that atmosphere is clean. I used to go on my roof and used to see the Kasoli light from there. As this was how the system has improved, because it was a lockdown.
So you've turned off your mic again.
मेहरीन, उनको बताना पड़ेगा अच्छे से.
Okay, it is done.
Yes, sir.
So we have to again bring back our environment. And today is a coincidentally Environment Day. So the environment is, if we have to live, if our children has to live, we have to protect our environment, and we have to see that environment is protected, and we may live a very healthy and good life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those perfumed and valuable words, sir. We absolutely had a delightful experience having you speak. I would now call our Revered Vice President, Mrs. Nidhi Kathuria, for the deliverance of the vote of thanks to our esteemed guests.
Thanks, Mehreen. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Thank you so much all for being with us in today's webinar, especially our chief guest and our guest of honor. We really need to discuss and care about environment. Being human, we not only have rights, we have duties also. And we have the utmost responsibility to keep track and save the most important gift that is given to us by God. Now, I request Mehreen to invite Dr. Richa Ranjan to conclude the session. Please, Mehreen.
Thank you, ma'am. Before inviting the President, Dr. Richa Ranjan, to conclude the event, I would like to share a beautiful and thoughtful poem on environment, composed by the equally beautiful person, the President of the Human Rights Council, WICCI herself, Dr. Richa Ranjan. And the poem goes like, प्रकृति का नया शोर है, चारों तरफ अंधेरा घनघोर है, हवाओं में कमी सी है, हर इंसान की आंखों में नमी सी है। कब छटेंगे ये आंसू, कब लौटेंगी ये बहारें, न जाने क्यों जमी आसमान की दूरी पड़ी है नापने को दुनिया सारी। पल थोड़ा नासाज है, बदलने में समय लगेगा। इंसान ने भी तो अरमानों को हरे खून से सींचा है। वक्त लगेगा संभलने में, मत काटो पेड़ों को। जिंदगी लग जाती है सुबह बनाने में अंधेरों को। चलो आज एक आवाज उठाते हैं, नए लगाए हम पेड़ों को, और जो लगे हैं धरती माँ पर, उखाड़ने की जगह उनकी प्यास बुझाते हैं। Such a wonderful piece of poetry, ma'am. I hope I did justice to it. Did I, ma'am?
हाँ जी, thank you मेहरीन, thank you मेहरीन.
You're most welcome, ma'am. Ma'am, I would now invite you to kindly conclude the event.
Okay, Mehreen. We are glad to have Mr. Sunil Kumar as our chief guest over here. And sir, your presence with us was grateful. And you have enlightened this session. आपने सर इतने अच्छे तरीके से हमें कोर्ट की वर्किंग, कैसे उसकी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होती है, और उसके साथ साथ यू हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड ब्यूटिफुली द केसेस की ह्यूमन राइट्स सिर्फ बोलने के लिए नहीं है, उनके लिए लॉज भी हैं. सो सर, वी आर थैंकफुल टू यू कि आपने इतना अच्छा हमें सेशन दिया. एंड आई एम वेरी मच थैंकफुल टू आवर गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर मिसेस दीपिका, and she is what we can say everlasting support and cooperative throughout, and her hard work speaks itself. And Deepika, and we are with you in every field, in every commitment, and we hope we can continue with. And I'm thankful to my esteemed council members, or Deepika ma'am and sir, to be the part of this session. And in end, what I'll say is, I'll continue with my motto for a session. Our start is, let's unite for human rights. Thank you all. And I want one line, Deepika ma'am, please end with the session.
No, Dr. Richa, you have very well concluded it. And Sunil Chaudhary sir, it was an amazing and enlightening session. वाकई हमें ह्यूमन राइट्स के बारे में पता नहीं है, और आपने कैसे रियल लाइफ केसेस सुना के हमें ये बताया है कि अगर हमारे साथ भी कुछ ऐसा हो, या हमारे भी ह्यूमन राइट्स हैं, और हम कभी भी एक जगह है जहां हम जाके उसको कंप्लेन कर सकते हैं. इट्स नॉट ओनली अ थ्योरेटिकल और अ फैंटेसी.
बिल्कुल ठीक है
जी. तो आपने बहुत अच्छे से समझाया सर, एंड आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल फॉर योर टाइम एंड योर वैल्यूएबल इनपुट्स. एंड
सोसाइटी में एक इंस्टीट्यूशन का पता है.
जी
जी जी सर.
जी. And Dr. Richa, all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you, Mrs. Deepika. Thank you, and we'll end this session today and hope for the future ones also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. मेहरीन, आप डिसकंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.